It's just like drawing class in architecture school, because texture in drawings just makes them richer. Hi, I'm Wayne Visbeen from Visbeen Architects. One of the most successful social media pitches we had was when I did a quick class on drawing a room. But if I were to do the same thing on an exterior and I'm going to draw a house, basically I'm drawing the exterior of the house as a box, as if I'm outside a room instead of inside. It's funny that the same lines that I just drew could be internal or external, but here we are on the outside, and then I have to figure out where would a gable be on that. Well, here's the center, so I go up the center. If I was creating a gable, that gable would fall like this. Now I'm going to do the top of that roof back to that same vanishing point, right? So now it's going to be steep because it's coming back to here. And I've got to be parallel to this because it's a roof line. So these lines just work with each other. And I'm just drawing, now I'm going to layer in the window that might be in the middle of this plane, this face plane. Again, it's going to this vanishing point here and here. That's the top of the window and the bottom. These lines are going to be vertical just as these are, so that the perspective lines don't matter to the vertical. And then I can start adding detail. So let's say it's a picture window with a 9-light system, and I just want to fill that in. Now if I want to change materials, let's say I start with stone on the base of this box, and I want to fill in some stone, so I put some texture to it, because texture in drawings just makes them richer. It's just like drawing class in architecture school or in basic design classes when you were a kid. Now I have windows on the side, and I'm just going to use those same perspectives, those same vanishing points to create those vertical lines for the verticals, and then the horizontal is going to be pitched to the perspective. And as you can see, now I can layer on this building. Let's say that there's a roof on top, and it's layered up top here, and it's going in the other direction. So now I have the second part of this house, and I'm going to take it back a little bit. And I can create that same gable again. So I'm doing something that has symmetry. And this gable carries over top of this one, the same here. And now I'm on the plane of the roof, and it's heading back, but I have vertical lines for, say, a dormer. But the horizontal lines are going back to the perspective point. Now I have to interpolate, right? I'm going to put a shed roof on that, so I have to fake it. But I can kind of fake it within the context of the building I'm designing. Again, the windows are the same concept. Vertical is vertical. But I'm having the rest of the windows converge in the perspective. And then I want to put a metal roof on the dormer just because it adds texture. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put shingles on this roof because, again, the texture is going to make this feel better. And I'm just going to add and layer and layer and layer and layer and just keep layering. Now I want to thicken that line because when I start putting texture to the drawing, I've lost a little bit of the clarity of my drawing. So I put a fatter pen out and I'll highlight the edges. I'll highlight the edge of the roof. I'll highlight the edge of this roof to strengthen the design and the drawing. Sometimes I can skip the first line because I know where I'm headed. And I'll shadow underneath this roof. Again, these layers just make the drawing look richer and better. And I'm just strengthening my drawing. Now I can say, okay, I've got these windows. They've gotten a little too steep there, so I have to correct that. Maybe there's 2 windows on this side. I'm using this line to come here to say it's at the same height. And you can see the way the perspective draws it across. And maybe we do a little narrow detail up top here, both sides. Maybe I show the fact that there's an overhang here, so I'll put a little bit of detailing under that to accentuate it. Repeat that same detail here. So a lot of it is just rinse, repeat. It's like washing your hair. And again, you can see these shingle lines are basically going in the same perspective. Now let's put some columns on this porch. And I'm going to try to kind of guess at the spacing, kind of know it. I'm going to put some depth to the porch, so it's got a place that gives me some depth. And then I'm going to shadow that to clearly understand that this porch is stepping back underneath. And I'm just going to blacken underneath that porch so that you can see where the shadow lines are. That gave me immediate depth. Now I'll come back in here and I'll put the door, which has to be in the center, which is going to move because it's back, it's going to be here. There's a door, let's say there's some glass on it, maybe there's some light fixtures on the porch. There's another window off to the side and off to the side, which is disappearing behind the column. I'm going to use that thick line again on the column to accentuate. Now this thing looks like it's floating, so I think I need a thicker porch. Maybe I'll show brick vertically on that porch to reinforce the line. And again, as I said, texture, texture, texture. And maybe there's a sidewalk coming off of that porch. It's going to work in the same kind of perspective. Put a little texture on that to create a pattern. Maybe there's a brick border on that sidewalk, so I'm going to show the brick. And again, you can see I'm just layering and layering and layering. And the more I layer, the more the drawing comes alive. More stone. I haven't determined what the siding is yet. We have a lot of options. We could do board and batten, which is vertical. We could do horizontal siding. We could do stone. Let's put a vent up in this gable. And let's do board and batten because it's easy. And it just adds texture and it also strengthens the perspective and the drawing. Now the house is a little boring, so maybe I could put a chimney here because chimneys are sexy. I love chimneys. Put some more stone on there. I got one here. Why not have one over here too? I like symmetry. So I'm gonna put a chimney on both sides of this house. And maybe I'll put a chimney pot. I love clay chimney pots. And one of the chimneys might be real, they both might be real, one might be fake. So now I've got my horizon line, maybe there's some trees in the back, and we're gonna carry those across the back here to make this thing feel more realistic. Maybe put a couple of details in here to make the tree look more like there's trees back there. And then you start to go, what else? Is there a circle drive? You know. So basically you're just layering on top of this drawing. I keep adding, as you'll see, because I want it to keep getting stronger and stronger. So I look at what's missing and I'll just do more. And when the client's bored or when I have enough information to give you an idea. Now there's some errors in this drawing. I started by just doing the one box and I was a little tighter in my perspective, being more dramatic, and I decided to make it a whole house. So now I'm gonna try to fix that line. So I know when to stop when I feel like I've got it down and it's looking pretty good. But my drawings are never done. You know, I could just keep going. Now, when you ask me how do I take it to the next level, I would take this exact drawing, and I know this will bore you to tears, so I won't do it today, but I would draw it again. And now I can fix all my things that are just off. I can make it better. I can look at the things I thought, well, I really wish I had done this, and I fix it. And that's the way I do the whole design process. While I'm drawing this, I know in my head what the plan is, right? I've already done it in my head, or I've already done it in the meeting when I start drawing this exterior, because I usually do a floor plan with the client before I draw an exterior. And so I kind of know what I'm getting into with at least the detail of the columns, the recessed porch, the window, the front door, the window, the big window here. So this is a plan view of what I'm drawing here. 2 windows on this piece. And I just want to be able to inform the client of the house, the plan, and the vision, so they know what they're getting into. And this isn't a great drawing, but it's informative. And I think that's really the key. That's the way a drawing works.